Where should we go on holiday this year? That's a question asked throughout the length and breadth of Britain during the winter months. Why not the Isle of Wight? It's doubtful you'll find any greater range of scenery than packed into this small, tiny island we call Treasure Island, off the southern coast of England. Although the island looks small on the map, it is in fact 23 miles across from the Needles in the west to Wycliffe Bay in the east, and 13 miles from Cowes in the very north to St Catherine's Point at the southern tip. In its area of 147 square miles, there is something of interest for everyone. The many thousands of visitors arriving each year have a choice of sea routes across the Solent to reach their destination. A leisurely cruise can be taken from Southampton to East Cowes with Red Funnel, or by White Link from Lymington to Yarmouth, or Portsmouth to Fishbourne. For those wishing to make the most of their time on the island, a quicker journey can be made by Fastcat or hovercraft from Portsmouth to Ryde, a journey of only 10 minutes. Popular destinations are Sandown and Shanklin. Sheltered by downland and steep cliffs, both towns enjoy a fine weather reputation and are frequently at the top of the Sunshine League. The safe sandy beaches are ideal for young families, but the island has much more to offer and caters for all tastes. Traditional Punch and Judy is still to be found alongside the latest pop craze, and the poets Keats and Tennyson would still feel at home amongst the thatched buildings of Shanklin Old Village and the Chine. Thatch can be seen all over the island. There is even a thatched church. St Agnes in Freshwater, built in 1908, was the family church of Tennyson, who lived at nearby Farringford House. Tormented by sightseers, Tennyson had an escape route through his garden to the top of the down. It is on the highest point of what is now called Tennyson Down that a monument stands to his memory. He was a familiar figure standing over the downs in all weathers, enjoying the fine views across to Freshwater Bay. This bay is unlike anything else on the island. At one time it was non-existent and the cliffs presented an unbroken front to the sea, but the constant pounding of the waves has sculptured the chalk into many interesting shapes. This erosion is going on all the time, and eventually the landscape will change beyond all recognition. Just around the corner is Alum Bay, world famous for its coloured sands. The 12 main colours that can be seen in the chalk, sand and clays are a result of geological upheaval many millions of years ago. In 1927, Tennyson's son Hallam presented 155 acres of downland to the National Trust, who now own and manage over 4,000 acres and 17 miles of island coastline. This downland is easily accessible to the hardy rambler, and the varied flora and fauna is a naturalist's delight. In spring, summer, autumn or winter, there is always something of interest for the budding photographer. Moving inland away from the coast, we find many old buildings steeped in history. Tudor, Georgian, Edwardian and Victorian can all be seen. Carisbrooke Castle on the outskirts of Newport is believed to be on the site of an old Roman fort. Most of what we see today is from the late Norman period. This is also where King Charles I spent most of the last years of his life before his trial and execution in London in 1649. The island has many connections with royalty. Our present Queen has made a few visits to the island, and Queen Victoria spent so many happy years at Osborne, East Cowes. Built by Prince Albert and open to the public since 1904, Osborne House is now owned by English Heritage. Almost half the island is designated as an area of outstanding natural beauty, and with over 500 miles of well signposted paths, most of it can be explored on foot. With Roman villas, nature reserves, river estuaries, wildlife parks, golden sandy beaches, hidden valleys, timeless villages and stunning scenery, the Isle of Wight can truly be called England's Eden.